Hello friends, how are you doing? I hope you are settling down in your arrangements for the Christmas and the festive period. I know there are a lot of holly and activities going on right now, and I just thought I should share a couple of legal advice and opinion with regards to how someone who live in England or outside the UK can bring in an adopted child to the UK to come and live with them or visit them, or even become citizens of the United Kingdom. And I'll be doing this in two parts. The first part, I want to talk about what is adoption generally, and what are the types of adoption that we have, and also what are the requirements of the immigration rules that apply to adoption in the UK. So I think to start this this talk, I think it's better to know what adoption is. Adoption is the legal process where you are terminating the legal rights and obligations of the biological parents of a child, and then the child is then transferred to a new parent, if I can call that same legal right and responsibility to that new parent or individuals who are not the birth parents of the child. So there must be a complete break between the biological parent and the child, and their rights are being transferred to the new individuals. Could be a single person, it could be a married couple, and they take full responsibility of the child as if they were the biological parents. Within the framework of immigration and nationality law, international adoption, where you move from one jurisdiction to the other, is very complex and very stressful and distressful for parties involved. And it's always important that it is carefully looked into, carefully studied, and then all the necessary laws are applied. There are four types of adoption that readily will come to mind. You have adoption under the terms of the Hague Convention on Protection of Children and Cooperation in respect of intercountry adoption, which is 1993 law. Is generally known as Hague Convention, and it applies to those countries that are signatory to the Hague Convention. I think is the number one thing that you should look at. Does my country, or is my country, a signatory to the Hague Convention? The second type of adoption, of course, is the overseas adoption recognized by the UK law. Generally, these adoptions tend to take place in countries or territories whose adoption procedures are recognized by UK. For these adoptions, which probably took place between 3rd of January 2014, and there's a list of countries which come under the adoption of, in open bracket and close bracket, destination of overseas adoption 1973, and the adoption again in bracket designation of overseas adoption variation order 1993. There are some adoptions that the UK government recognize, and again, that is something that you need to look into. If the adoption that you are about to get yourself involved in, do they come into that adoption? Does it come within the framework of the legislations which I've cited? And again, like I said, there are countries that are already on the list, and you need to check if your country is within the list. The third type of adoption, of course, is the overseas adoption that are not recognized by the UK law. These adoptions would have taken place in countries not listed within the countries I mentioned in the second type of adoption. These are the ones that are very difficult with regards to how to bring such adopted children into the UK, unless they are classified as de facto adoptions, which provides us with a fourth type of adoption. The de facto adoptions, of course, is clearly defined in paragraph 309A of the immigration rules, and you need to fall within these situations. Number one, the adoptive parents have been living together abroad for at least 18 months, and the adoptive parents have been living together with the child for 12 months, and the adoptive parents have cared for the child for the full 18 months period. That is what they call de facto, meaning that as a matter of fact, there are evidence to show, demonstrable evidence to show that these three criteria have occurred, and that's why you have 18 months, you have 12 months. It's a concept of the immigration rules. They do not really mean anything under the family law, and they do not grant parental rights to parents or nationality rights to a child. So there are children who automatically become British at the time of adoption. Under Section 1(5) of British Nationality Act 1981, there are two instances where adopted children will become British automatically at the time of adoption. The first one is when the final adoption order is certified as having been made in accordance with the terms of the Hague Convention, and at least one of the adoptive parents was British and habitually resident in the UK at the time of the adoption order. Second type is when a child is adopted by order of a court in the UK, and at least one of the adoptive parents was a British citizen at the time the adoption order was made. In these two cases that I mentioned, the parent can simply make an application for a British passport for the child, sending in the required proof of adoption and other required documents. But we know that in practical terms, it's not as easy as that.